The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
We have always had, since the day we settled here, a gentle understanding with the creatures who live beyond our borders. We do not stray into their woods. They do not come into our village. I have always pictured them in some ways as our protectors. They have allowed us to live here, nestled amongst them in this untouched place. By the markings we find this morning on our homes, I feel they were warning us. We may question ourselves at moments such as these. Did we make the right decision to settle here? I fear our days of peace are over. In a way that I shall never know.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I am your host, Jimbo.
And I'm your most excellent co-host, Kyle.
Really? Most excellent co-host?
Most excellent, bro.
I would have said the co-host who shall not be named.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's another one.
That's right. Kyle, we're both wearing the color
red for victory or something. I don't know why we're wearing red.
The monsters are coming.
It's right. The monsters they wear the red and the... Right. I know the thing you're talking about.
Well,
yeah.
It's about time. Well, because today we'll be talking about the movie The Village from 2004, the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong director. I'm just going to call him M. Night for the rest of this thing because I don't want to mess his name up the entire time.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, before we get started, we want to remind everybody that shortly we will be having our live show.
That's right, October 28th.
Yes, up at the Boone County Distillery with Jackie and company. Tickets are free. It's going to start about 5 o'clock to 8. We will be passing out candy on the town square there with a bunch of the people, the townsfolk, have a some sort of festival. I can't remember
festival
what she called
event,
it.
a Halloween festival event,
Right.
something like that.
And then after that, between like 8:30 or 8:45, we're going to be giving away some door prizes. We're going to be doing a little live podcast.
Yeah, we'll be in costume. I'll be Uncle Fester, Jimbo.
Yes,
you know that means I'm going to shave my head bald and my eyebrows.
Yes, I'm glad this is finally happening. I've been trying to get you to do this for months now.
You just wanted to see me. You wanted to see me smooth. That's what he wanted to see me. Just it's all smooth, no shave.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Full shave, smooth as a baby's bottom, but all around.
And yes, I will be coming as Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and ADZ, the co-host of the Twilight Zone series, is coming as Marty McFly.
McFly. Yeah.
Come, we will be having my cardboard cutouts there where you can get your selfies taken. I think they said they have some coffins up there that we're going to set up in the other room with people.
I'm going to bring pictures and buckets of candy. It's going to be great.
Oh, speaking of that, don't let me forget to get those buckets to you. We got some cool cups and everything, so it's going to be a fun time there in the old Lebanon, Indiana that night, October 28th. So hope everybody can come out and see us.
Yeah, and if it's not already booked up on the Facebook group, please go there and reserve your spot, because if not already sold out by now, we'll see them.
And if not, and you still want to come, just let me know, because we do have additional tickets we can get. We might just have to expand the room a little bit.
Expand the room a little bit.
But also, we don't want Fire Marshal Bill to come and close us down.
But also, it's an open business and a bar, so like you can go there and have a good time in your own way. There's a whole festival to go to. That's not we're not a part of, but it's still a fun time to be around. So,
right.
Yeah.
So Kyle, we'll be talking about The Village. But before we get started, question. Kyle.
Ooh.
Kyle.
Yeah.
I could go two ways with this, and I know what your answer is going to be, so I might not even go that way.
Okay.
Because I know you'll say Signs if I say your favorite M. Night movie. Which I would probably go either The Sixth Sense or this. I think are pretty good. So, but Kyle, if you found yourself in the predicament of the people or the kids in this village, would you have been the kid that went out into the woods, or would you have been so scared you would have just never even attempted to go out there, or would curiosity have got the best of you?
Oh boy, gosh, I would say I think I could never really believe they could keep up the lie that well. In all honesty, but if they convince me well enough, I could probably have the fear just like all of them and stay out of the woods entirely. I think the real tough question for me is it looked like Bryce Dallas Howard's character was okay with keeping up the lie for at least another generation or so, and I don't know if I could ever keep. Do you think you could keep that lie going if you knew the truth or found it out at a young age in your mid-20s?
But see, I don't. Do you think she's going to tell Joaquin
Phoenix's character?
Yeah, because the dad said, they're gonna. This is a story that's going to live on. But see, because here's what you got to put two and two together. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but when she kills the one in the woods, to her,
it was a monster,
because her dad said, when I was young, I wrote about these stories. There was rumors of these monsters in these woods, and by her,
so it's still part of the lie going on there. Yeah, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know, because we'll get to it in our discussion.
We'll get to the more.
Right. But I mean, I think I'd be just as scared as anybody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you're right. Okay, Jimbo, but I'll go straight into the movie so we can get to the meat of the discussion that we so clearly want to get to.
We went straight to the dessert.
Yeah, we did. All right, The Village. M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, released in 2004, July 30th. Directed, of course, by M. Night Shyamalan. At this point, might be considered a little bit of an infamous director in his own right, because he had many good films, but he also had just as many stingers.
What was that one about the lady in the pool,
lady in the water,
yeah,
The Happening, Avatar movie, The Last Airbender, because I couldn't have the Avatar.
That had good special effects.
Still, there was a much better television and animated television show that was a lot better than that. But on the other side, though, he had many other great films. Like my personal favorite, which you mentioned therefore, was Signs with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. I think did a great job with those films. The Sixth Sense, probably his most iconic film he directed with Bruce Willis there.
That put him on the map, I think.
Yeah. And then also the secondly with Bruce Willis again in Unbreakable, which later became a trilogy with Glass and the other film Split. Thank you. And most recently he did Knock at the Cabin, which got a little bit of mixed reception. And there was also the movie Old, which he directed, which I heard got a little more.
Old was really interesting.
Overall positive reception, I think, kind of got. So he's been an infamous director though, because I feel like he's a little bit of his identity seems to be a little bit more self-absorbed. He seems to like really think he has this auteur thinking where like, you know, anyone who doesn't like the movie just didn't understand it or didn't appreciate what I was doing, versus him having any flaws in his film at all, in, you know, in my kind of opinion of his work. But we'll kind of keep moving forward there though. But this is the director and writer of the film, M. Night Shyamalan. Producers roles, we have Sam Mercer, Scott Rudin, and M. Night Shyamalan again. This was composed by James Newton Howard. Cinematographer was Roger Deakins, and editor was Christopher Telfson. Casting director was Douglas Abel, and production designer was Tom Foden. Budget for the film was $60 million in 2004, and adjusting for inflation, that'd be about $97.5 million today. Whew, inflation, it gets you. Opening weekend, it grossed only $50.7 million. Just for inflation, that'd be about $82.5 million, so a little bit of box office disappointment there. But for gross in U.S. and Canada, it made $114 million. Just for inflation, it'd be about $185.6. So it made money in the long term of the theatrical run. And then worldwide, it more than made its money back with $256.7 million. Just for inflation, that'd be about $417.2 million. I'm sure it's made money today with, of course, DVD and Blu-ray sales and that kind of back-end kind of profiteering as well. So this film, made a healthy sum, and it's kind of, I think this film will be considered a success for him on that film role, even though I think this is the first film that had like a lot of negative pushback when it first released too. This is probably the turning point of his career where a lot of people were going like, I don't care for this twist. And I think this is a film that once you know the twist, I think you actually appreciate it better.
Yeah, second viewing would be most beneficial, I do believe.
Yep. So we're going to go through the quick plot summary of the film right here. We have M. Night Shyamalan's The Village revolves around a desolate town in Pennsylvania. The residents of this town live by strict rules. They are not to leave the village, or the monsters beyond their boundaries will surely attack them. Lucius and Ivy have an attraction, a strong one. But when Noah, a man with an intellectual disability and who has feelings for Ivy, finds out the two are in love, Noah attacks Lucius. He will die if the brave Ivy, who happens to be blind, does not breach the borders and find help to save Lucius. And the kind of the critical twist of this film, which I kind of want to get ahead of here, because otherwise we'll kind of like ruin the conversation we have later on, is that actually the founders of the town are actually modern day social workers who decided to start their own internal community and actually have it blocked off entirely, including like blocking off even the airways so people wouldn't see planes in the sky or something like that too. But it's actually a modern day world setting, but they live almost a kind of a pilgrim lifestyle.
And they live in like a wildlife sanctuary.
Wildlife sanctuary too, so no outside visitors come in, and they created this whole elaborate lore of their village that they're actually surrounded by monsters, and no one can leave their village or they will surely die.
And I think I think they were all counselors or at a counseling thing too from that picture they show.
Yeah.
And I think each one of them had been succumb to some sort of violence in their families.
Violent tragedy of some sort. And, of course, encountered it on their job, too, of social work. And basically, that collective kind of building of social workers, they all collectively kind of like lost their faith in the civilized world as it is today and then retreated to this wildlife sanctuary to start their own village. And then they started a whole new generation in that town of them keeping them pure, innocent from the world's evils in their mind by creating this elaborate lore.
Let me ask you a question too. Mm-hmm. At the very beginning of the film, there is a funeral going on.
Yeah.
And did you happen to see what the tombstone said?
I do not remember.
It said 1897. So did they purposely do that to make the kids think they're back in time, like at that time setting, without any of the modern inventions?
I think it made it easier for them to a degree to keep true to what they think the world should be capable of in their society. So yeah, I think that kind of worked for them to all kind of keep on the same rule, basically like that, because they said like, oh, it's 2014, but we all live like this. Then it might confuse them in how they tell their own personal backstories.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if all those kids, when they moved there as a family, and then they started having kids and all that, then they wouldn't even know what year it is.
They wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't probably.
But what I'm saying is, why did you just say it's modern day, like 2000? We'll say 2000.
I think it's for all the founders to know what they're allowed to say in their own backstories, because if they pretend like it was still like 2004, as it is, taking place in modern time in the film that time, they might accidentally tell something that would only make sense in the 1960s, like if they reference cars or electricity or something like that, or, well, they have electricity too, but also like any of the modern day innovations in their lifetimes that may mess up their storytelling. And that could cause fractures in their kind of their illusion, basically like that, where a kid becomes skeptical and then figure out the truth. So I think they went 100 years back, so everyone knows what kind of say, like, okay, this is how the world works, just reflected of 1890s. And that's what kind of helped them keep it things simple, as best they could. But it's an interesting question there, and I'm sure M. Night Shyamalan spent a whole lot of time, including the writers, spent a whole lot of time trying to make this vast narrative where they tell these kids what there was, and that whole backstory has to be built into the film because it holds up pretty well, actually. Moving on here, we're going to go to the awards real quick. This film was nominated for 1 Oscar award and had another 4 wins and 23 nominations.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 2005, it won the ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards for one of the top box office films of the year 2004. And then also in 2005, it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Pictures, the original score being by James Newton Howard. Next up, in 2005, we had the Central Ohio Film Critics Association, where it had second place for Best Sound Design. 2005, it won the Evening Standard British Film Awards for Best Technical or Artistic Achievement, related to Roger Deakins, who was the cinematographer of the film. And the 2005 MTV Movie and TV Awards, where it was nominated for Breakthrough Female for Bryce Dallas Howard's role. Wasn't her first film, but definitely probably her first big film of that scale of the time. Now, of course, she's in Jurassic Park and a few other things, and we'll get to that in the cast list. Then in 2005, we also have the Motion Picture Sound Editor Awards, where it was nominated for Best Sound Editing in a Feature, Music, or Feature Film to Thomas S. Drescher. In 2005, again, for the Online Film and Television Awards, it was nominated for Best Breakthrough Performance by a Female, once again to Bryce Dallas Howard nomination. And then lastly here, I'm just going to mention the 2004 International Film Critics Award, where it won the Best Original Score for a Horror or Thriller Film, awarded to James Newton Howard, too. This film does have an excellent score, by the way. Mm-hmm. There's many other aspects that actually hold up incredibly well. I think this film, really got a short, was given a short appraisal by the audiences at the time, because I think the twist, hit him so wrong. But I think in hindsight, this film holds up a lot better than they originally would have thought. Some of the technical details of the film: this film has a runtime of 108 minutes. Sound mix was Dolby Stereo Surround Sound and Dolby Digital EX and SDDS. This is a color film. Aspect ratio is 1.85 by 1. Some of the production notes of the film: the filming dates was between October 8th, 2003 and December 19th of 2003. Pretty good short turnaround, actually, but of course that makes sense when actually you have like a lot of live action props and sets where you can do a short turnaround of the actual edit of the final film and don't have to worry about doing post FXX, which we have to do in so many films nowadays for CG and things like that. And we can have some of the other notes here. I think that covers about all we need to cover for the podcast here. So I'm going to move on to the cast. And the cast, ladies and gentlemen, is what we describe as stacked ridiculous.
Star-studded.
Oh my gosh.
All-star.
This is a huge, amazing cast. Virtually everyone you see on screen went on to do, incredible things before and after.
And how good is William Hurt in this movie?
Absolutely fantastic. I miss William Hurt so bad. I'm so sad he passed away.
He was such captivating in this.
Back in my early childhood, like between 1998 and 2003 or
last
whatever.
year.
Exactly. Just yesterday when I was a baby. I had a VHS tape that had the Mortal Kombat Armageddon film and Lost in Space on one VHS tape.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure a perfectly legitimate copy, not a pirated copy at all. But I used to watch that relentlessly. I just watch Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and then the credits would actually fade into Lost in Space. I would watch it over and over and over again. So I'm so used to just hearing William Hurt's voice as an amazing, father figure almost. So William Hurt, such a great actor in this film and many others. But anyways, moving on to the cast here, we of course have the main star and heroine of the film is Bryce Dallas Howard's character, Ivy Walker. Bryce Dallas Howard is also the daughter of the legendary director Ron Howard of both Twilight Zone fame and many amazing films.
Happy Days.
Yeah, the last solo film he'd made, and a bunch of other great films too. I think Sunshine was one of his as well.
Andy Griffith.
Yeah, Andy Griffith. Ron Howard, amazing as all right. And Bryce Dallas Howard is making an amazing film career as both a director and as a film star in her own way. She, of course, was also in the Jurassic World trilogy of films, and presumably probably the next film, whenever they make that. But Jurassic World that came out in 2015, Fallen Kingdom, which came out in 2018, and Dominion came out in 2022. She was also in one of M. Night Shyamalan's most recent films, Old, released in 2021. So that was good for her there. So they both kind of continue to have a working relationship to some degree. Next up, we have another. Once again, if I say legendary actor for each one of them, then it'd be redundant, but also makes sense. But we have Joaquin Phoenix playing the character of Lucius Hunt. Joaquin Phoenix, of course, amazing actor in his own right. Many amazing films, such as Walk the Line in 2005, where he played Johnny Cash. Just an amazing role. He just took it over. Of course, probably the biggest role he had in the past few years, though, was in Joker in 2019. And I believe just later this year, he's going to be in the film where he deploys Napoleon Bonaparte in 2023. And I'm sure that's going to be a huge film in its own right as well.
He's doing what?
Napoleon movie. He's doing a film where he plays a biopic about Napoleon.
About Napoleon Bonaparte?
Did I say Napoleon Bonaparte?
I thought you said Napoleon Dynamite, and I was like...
No, Napoleon Bonaparte, the actual name of the guy. Yeah, not Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Maybe that's just what my brain went to.
No, it's okay. I get it. Yes. What a weird decade that was.
Yeah, he'd probably be good in that role, too. I can see him pulling that off easily.
He's an incredibly strong actor, and I'm really looking forward to anything he does. And I believe that Napoleon movie, I think that's the Ridley Scott movie coming up, too. So, it could be amazing or it's going to be terrible, one or the other. He's no between, Ridley Scott. Joaquin Phoenix, amazing in his own right. Next up, we have Adrian Brody playing the character of Noah Piercer.
He was excellent in this movie, too.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's difficult for any actor to play a mentally challenged role with kind of dignity or accuracy. It's a very difficult challenge, especially in his case where I feel like in films like Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump, he still played an incredibly wise person with a mental deficiency, whereas Adrian Brody's here is a lot more difficult because he has to play a mentally challenged person who has no real semblance of understanding, really.
Especially when he's clapping at a funeral,
Yeah, he's effectively an adult child. That's all he is in a child. And so it's hard to give a proper nuance to that role. But I think he does an excellent job here, and he's a great actor in his own right. Adrian Brody, of course... most recently, he was in Asteroid City, the latest Wes Anderson film. There we go, Wes Anderson. I was going to say Anderson Cooper. Nope, he didn't. Wes Anderson film there. I really enjoyed that. He was also in the huge film King Kong 2005, and the World War II film The Pianist in 2002. So Adrian Brody, of course, has an amazing career in his own right. Then, as we mentioned right there from the start, we had William Hurt playing the role of Edward Walker, the kind of like the main founder of the city, and kind of like the probably the main founder we watched throughout the movie. But William Hurt, of course, amazing actor in his own right. Once again, best known for certain roles like History of Violence in 2005, Mr. Brooks in 2007, which I think is a really underrated film and made more sense as a TV show, honestly. I think it was a great show. And Lost in Space in 1998 was an amazing film that I have a great appreciation for as well. And William Hurt, many other great roles too. He was playing... what was Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now to be replaced by Harrison Ford in the latest films, I believe. So, interesting legacy there. Yeah, so next up we have once again, legendary actress Sigourney Weaver playing the role of Alice Hunt.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, who never heard of Sigourney Weaver? Just some no-name. I can't have them all, right? Of course, Sigourney Weaver, of course, legendary actress, when we're playing Alice Hunt.
Most famously known for Galaxy Quest.
Yes, most well known with Ellen Ripley and the Alien 79 film, and Aliens in 86 and Alien 3 and those films, and also just I think it might be most recently actually, but 2022 was in the Avatar: Way of the Water, the sequel to Avatar from 2009, and presumably she'll be in Avatar 3, 4, and 5 if those films ever get made. And also Ghostbusters in 84, and just many other amazing films. Sigourney Weaver, once again, as of most of this cast, just an amazing actor who's been in many great films before and after this film. Next up, we have Brendan Gleeson playing the role of August Nicholson. Brendan Gleeson is an amazing Irish actor in many respects and does a lot of amazing roles outside of the Irish film world as well. But a great actor in his own right that I really like. Every time I see him in a movie, I know this movie's gonna be good. When I see Brendan Gleeson, one of my personal favorites. He was in Calvary in 2014, In Bruges in 2008. And the Banshees of I'm going to mispronounce this, Inisherin, I believe, Inisherin in 2022, which I heard amazing things about, but I have not gotten around to watching personally yet. So I got to get around to that movie sometime because it looked and sounded really, really good. Because from what I saw from other reviews. Next up, we have Cherry Jones playing Mrs. Clack. Cherry Jones was also in another M. Night Shyamalan film, Signs, in 2002. She was also in the film The Perfect Storm in 2000. and she was in Ocean's 12 in 2004. Then next up here, we're going to go to John Christopher Jones playing the role of Robert Percy. John Christopher Jones also in the film Awakenings in 1990 and Desperate Hours also in 1990. Then next up here we have Frank Collinson playing the role of Victor. Frank Collinson, unbeknownst to me because I never had seen the show, was in Dr. Quinn's Medicine Woman between 1993 and 1998.
Yeah, he played Horace. I had to tell you, he played Horace in Dr. Quinn.
So I've now looking into it. Looks like nothing but good things should be said about the show. He also continued to work with M. Night Shyamalan again because he also appeared in the film The Happening in 2008, one of M. Night Shyamalan's infamous bombs, unfortunately. And he also had an appearance in the Twin Peaks revival in 2017. I don't know if he's a main character there or not. I've not watched the Twin Peaks show. And then up we have Jane Atkinson playing the role of Tabitha Walker. Jane Atkinson was also in the film Free Willy in 1993. Next up, we have Judy Greer playing the character of Kitty Walker. Judy Greer was also in the films Going on 30 in 2004, and she was in the latest Halloween trilogy movies from 2018 to 2021. Or was she in the last one, Halloween Ends? I don't know if she was or not. It's fine. She was in two of them, I know that. And she's also well known for her role as Cheryl on the show Archer from 2009 to 2023. They're having their final season this year after 14 years. Incredible work for them. Yeah. Cheryl Tunt, I believe. And finally, and then next up we have Fran Kranz playing the role of Christoph Crane. Fran Kranz continued his work with M. Night Shyamalan again because he appeared in the film... Oh, no, never mind. I got that wrong. I was going to... A Knock at the Cabin. I was going to say Knock at the Cabin. Actually, it's The Cabin in the Woods in 2011. The Joss Whedon horror film. So next up, we have Michael Pitt playing the role of Fenton Coyne. Michael Pitt was also in the film The Dreamers in 2003, and a show of Steve Buscemi, Boardwalk Empire, between 2010 and 2014. And we also have the film Ghost in the Shell in 2017, the Scarlett Johansson anime film. And of course based off the original animated films and the manga. Then finally, for the cast here, there's no other people in the cast, and we're going to have to cut it short a little bit here. We have Jesse Eisenberg playing the role of Jameson. Jesse Eisenberg was also, of course, easily most well known for the films like Social Network in 2010, Zombieland in 2009, and The Art of Self-Defense in 2019. Jesse Eisenberg, of course, doing amazing film work on his own work right now. Probably hit his big, this is actually probably one of his bigger breaks early on in his career, but later on he had much bigger roles and still continuing to do great work today. So good for him on that. But that's going to conclude the cast list of The Village. Jimbo, let's move on to some cool trivia stuff.
All right.
All right.
So actually, Kirsten Dunst was replaced by Bryce Dallas Howard after dropping out to star in Elizabethtown. Dunst and Howard later appeared together in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, wow. That's right. And Bryce Dallas Howard also had a little smaller role in Spider-Man 1, I remember correctly, too. Yeah.
Was she... Gwen?
She was Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3. She was. I don't know if she's still the same role in Spider-Man 1 technically, but I know in Spider-Man 3 she had the she recreated that upside down kiss that made Kristen Dunst jealous.
The inspiration for the story comes from two unlikely sources: Wuthering Heights for the period drama, and King Kong for the community living in fear of predatory creatures. Huh. Director M. Night Shyamalan put the entire cast through a 19th century boot camp in order for them to get a good feel for the time period. It took the crew 11 weeks to build the set for The Village. There were nearly 300 people in the scenic and construction department.
Oh, wow. So they really
beautiful
went all
sets.
out.
Beautiful sets. Filmography was awesome. Cinematography, all that was awesome.
Wow. And how apparently how real it was in that case too, of building a set that impressive. I remember most recently I saw the film Oppenheimer, and they recreated the Roswell, New Mexico town. But they did that in record time because they actually, I believe Christopher Nolan actually cut out a significant portion of the budget they originally had reserved for extra shooting days, and they put that all into production design specifically to recreate that town in Roswell, New Mexico. Huh. Yeah, so pretty incredible work there. And this is this also is one of the earlier works that kind of demonstrates that same kind of plus, where it's they did amazing set design here. So that's really great, really impressive.
Sigourney Weaver suffered nightmares for 2 weeks after reading the script.
Nightmares for 2 weeks after reading the script. That's a weird...
Yeah, especially after you've been in Aliens and all that,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh. The Life is a Lie kind of nightmare, I guess.
M. Night initially had a different concept for those who we do not speak of creatures. They were originally conceived to be monsters similar to the rock drawings featured in the movie trailers, similar to lions walking on their hind feet, complete with shaggy manes. When the creatures were built to full scale and brought on set, M. Night felt that the design was completely unbelievable. The creatures were quickly redesigned, and most notably with the addition of the red cloaks. So instead of lions, we have giant porcupines.
Giant porcupines, yeah. Well, I'll give credit to like the current monster design. It feels believable. Those founders could make those monster suits. Versus like what they kind of describe that whole rock leopard design sounds like kind of impossible thing to actually kind of exist in the world. And would stick out like a sore thumb in this film probably.
So Kyle, here's a couple of people that were considered to play the role of Ivy. Mm-hmm. Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
She have done it?
Ooh, Jessica Biel. Would have loved to have seen her in the role. She's a great actress, but I don't know if she would have done better than Bryce Dallas.
And Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson. I haven't seen a Kate Hudson film in forever, but she probably could have done it. You know.
All right, here's some for Noah. For Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart. Seems kind of cruel. Yeah, probably could have done it.
Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane. I don't remember that name.
The Punisher. Remember the Punisher?
Oh, that guy. Ooh. Like he's too big for it. If he was Punisher size and like trying to be a midnight Johnson, it's like, oh gosh, he's gonna knock down a building by accident.
No, Noah, and the other one was Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen. Oh boy.
Noah's not the mentally challenged one. Noah's Joaquin Phoenix's role, right?
No. Lucius Hunt is Joaquin Phoenix's role.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other one was Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen. Boy, I feel like that would have been hard for him. It's so tough, especially when after the Star Wars prequels.
But then again, that Joker he did, or not Joker. What was that other role he did?
Wrong.
No,
it's not Mark Hamill.
What's the
Jumper? I remember Jumper. That was the only thing he did besides Star Wars for the longest time. You trying to think of anything else Hayden Christensen had done for them?
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it.
I can look at IMDb real quick.
Maybe I'm just misplaying.
We'll move on from that.
Yeah, I need to skip that all the way.
Yeah, you're fine.
Bryce Dallas Howard and Judy Greer, who play Sister Ivy and Kitty in this film, will later play sisters again in Jurassic World. This is the second collaboration between Joaquin Phoenix, Cherry Jones, and M. Night after previously working together on Signs. Yeah. This film is included on the film critic Roger Ebert's most hated list.
Most hated?
I disagree.
Wow. He's bitter about that film.
He's bitter about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The director cameo, did you catch it, Kyle? M. Night is the guard at the desk in the guard check when Kevin goes for medical supplies and equipment. You can see his face in the reflection of the glass medicine cabinet when Kevin opens the door. Yeah, and I think that's probably probably the weakest scene of the film, where it's just him like, oh, I don't want to show my face. I'll just show the reflection of my face so the real fans see what I'm doing. And like in the real, like he's in the background explaining how the concept works because he was afraid he couldn't sell that in the film, how the concept works. Like, someone's going to go on the internet and complain about why no one at the village saw a plane, so I better explain this in the film scene so I get ahead of it. And it's like, dude, just let this film stand on its own. The intricate violin solos in James Newton Howard's score were performed by acclaimed violin prodigy Hilary Hahn, and she knocks it out of the park with this violin solos. A couple of spoilers. According to Steve Bodecker, the MPAA gave the film an R rating due to a single sound effect, which was later removed. It was the sound of the knife stabbing Lucius. Bodecker has stated that the scene worked even better without it, and I thought that was a really cool aspect of the movie. Yeah, I completely agree. The silence of it and just the deafening, like, oh gosh, he just did that. It creates the shock value of that moment for sure. Great scene. Yeah. Another one, production almost had to shut down because it started snowing with 14 inches of accumulation. But during the night, it rained and all the snow melted. Soon after, they dug the hole that Noah falls into, which is why it looks so muddy. Oh, wow. The newspaper read by the guard at desk was the cameo by M. Night Shyamalan. Towards the end is dated Friday, July 30th, 2004, which is the day the movie came out. Oh, wow. So they wanted to go very much like it's right now. This is happening, and that's really cool. This film has a number of similarities to a young adult book called Running Out of Time. The book is about a village where the people who live in it think they're living in the 1800s when actually is set in the present day. The heroine of the book also goes searching for medical supplies, and the village elders take steps to make sure their children never learn the truth of their world. Author Margaret Peterson Haddix threatened to sue for plagiarism, but M. Night wrote off the similarities as coincidence. I don't know what I wrote here. I can't read it. But basically, meaningless, I think, or worthless, meritless, I think. Meritless. Yeah.
disagree.
Well, because I guess there were no monsters in the other book.
Yeah.
So that's why they got away with it. And it's a Disney film, so I'm sure their lawyers...
There could have been an out-of-court thing that no one ever talked about kind of stuff.
But we looked it up, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. So, but still, I think I would probably disagree with that Shyamalan there, where I think like there's probably something... Of course, I've never read that book. It very well could be very different. But going off that little concept explanation, it's like the inclusion of monsters doesn't make it different enough, in my opinion, to be like, there probably was grounds for a civil suit in those kind of situations. Yeah, my humble opinion.
Yep. All right, Kyle. Mm-hmm. Give me your thoughts, feelings, score, ratings.
I think this film is better when you actually know the twist and kind of can see all the clockwork running, and kind of like seeing like what everyone's doing to hide the truth of the matter, especially during the founders scenes. I think it actually works it serves the film well when you know the truth, and I think that kind of explains how bitter people were when they first saw the film and how mad they were because they felt like the twist was like dumb. But if you go into it knowing what's going on, I think it's all the richer for it because then you understand kind of the character's motivations a lot more clearly. Where like, if you're just lost in the film, I think it would have been devaluing. Like you're thinking like, oh, this is a horror film, and like it's not that at all. Really, it's more like a film of suspense and very in-depth character focus of those characters. So I think it actually is very rich in that aspect. So I think like, if you know going in what to expect in that film, I think it's overall a strong film. I think I would go as far as saying like this is probably a strong 7 out of 10, maybe in like a low 8, kind of around that area, like 7.5 if you will. And I really enjoyed it. I think the cast is doing stellar work there. I think the production design and cinematography has done stellar work. The music is incredible. Everything going on there is just going, at maximum kind of qualitative levels, and the script itself is solid enough, even if it doesn't have, all that much to say on it, and is a little bit, I would say, insecure in its premise, especially during that whole scene where, M. Night Shyamalan basically explains how he thinks that the village could work to the audience, so, like, why it could be legitimate. I think it's kind of an insecure move on his part there, and also just an excuse to put his face in the movie again when he's not needed in that scene. So it looks like there's things working against it, but overall I think it's a solid film, verging on great actually. So 7 out of 10 for me, and I would recommend anyone watch it knowing what it is going in, because then you have your expectations really set up for you. So overall I think it's a good film. Jimbo, how do you feel about it?
It's been almost 20 years since I watched this, maybe 15. And I had forgotten a lot about it. I remember the twist and I remember certain things about it. Mm-hmm. But I sat down last night and I enjoyed watching this movie. It's beautifully done.
Yeah.
The colors, the cinematography, the outfits, the timepieces, the time period, everything about it just flows beautifully. The monsters are a little goofy because even last night when I was watching, I forgot about Noah taking that costume he found under the floorboard, and going out there. So I was like, man, maybe this is where her dad got all those, lessons, stories about people in the woods. Because I thought there really was something out here, And then when you come to find out that it's actually him that falls in the pit, her legend lives on now because she killed one. No. That's one of the things they say when she comes back to town at the end is, oh, she killed one of the monsters. So now I think that's going to bolster not only their tradition of lying to the people, but it also I think it's going to boost their confidence that, hey, we can take these things on because a blind girl killed one. We shouldn't be afraid to go out there. If they come, we should be able to defend ourselves too, I think.
So now, it's on shaky foundations, that whole premise. Yeah.
Right. So I enjoyed this movie. One thing I will say is I think this could have been a Twilight Zone episode. I think you could have cut it down, and it could have still worked as a Twilight, maybe not a 27-minute Twilight Zone, but definitely in like season 4, the hour episodes. And I would have liked to see this shot in black and white. I think that would have been pretty cool.
I think you're right on the money there for sure. Yeah, and I would have loved the idea of this premise actually going on in a TV show. I personally do. Like even outside Twilight Zone, like I could see like an episodic format where it is about like, there has to be a point where a certain season where everyone knows like this isn't real, but this is our way of life now. How do we deal with that?
Right, and you could explore the back story of all the people that were the counselors and what their personal tragedies went through, why they wanted to do this. Because Noah's parents are there. They are the one. They're in the room. The 8 of them are in that room, and they're breaking down crying. And they're like, "Look, your son's a hero. We're going to give him we'll go find him. We'll give him a proper burial,
and we'll blame it on the monsters to secure our story."
Right, exactly. It's awesome storytelling. to me, the ending seemed a little rushed. I would have come up with a different ending because she just came back to his bedside and she says, like, "I'm here, Lucius," or whatever she says at the very end.
There's a lack of closure there because you don't even know if Lucius is going to survive after that.
And I was I was hoping there was maybe 10 years in the future where maybe they're married and they have kids and the horns go off and they start talking about the monsters again or something. I think that would have been a better closure.
Yeah.
To me personally, I give this movie an 8, maybe an 8.5, just for the simple fact that the more you watch it, the more interesting it gets, and the more you pick up on stuff. He does stuff in his movies that if you don't watch it closely the first time, you're not going to pick up on a lot of the stuff. It's like even The Sixth Sense, when I went back and watched it, and you realize, oh, the letter or the color red is always there when something paranormal is going on. You know what I mean? I think that this movie has a lot of that going on for it. I know a lot of people don't like this movie. I mean, even on IMDb, it's like a 6.6 out of 10.
That initial, that initial take would supplanted it as a bad take, and it's taken a long time to go back up where people were like reappraising it as like this is actually a pretty solid film overall.
And you know, after watching all of his other movies, this definitely ranks it a lot higher than a lot of those other ones that come out. So,
but I think this movie has probably the biggest thing where it's because so many The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, they are still good movies before you know the twist, and this film I think is only good after you've seen the twist. Where those other films have that distinction to make. And I feel like this movie is so much better when you know the twist.
And I think after The Sixth Sense, this might be my favorite movie of his. That's how much I like it.
We got to sign sometimes Sixth Sense.
Yeah, if we are
M. Night
Sixth Sense, that was our 6th episode ever, right. Kyle.
Well, you and Terrence.
So I don't necessarily agree with all the hate that this movie gets.
I understand it though.
Yeah, I mean I understand it to a degree, but I mean going back and just seeing the all-star character, William Hurt's character is, you come to find out that he's a professor or teacher or something, and so because he tells them, he's like, I have
professor of history. That's why he established the world of 1890s.
Right.
Yeah,
and Adrian Brody's character, that dude knocked it out of the park with this too, especially when he stabs Lucius, because he's like, Lucius is going over to say, hey, I'm going to marry Ivy. I know you guys have been close because Noah and Ivy she's blind and he's mentally challenged. So they've kind of had this companionship the whole time. But when they finally, I got to say this too, when Ivy's sister says, I love this guy.
Oh, gosh.
Dad, I love him. And I want to marry him. I'm going to marry him. And then the dad's like, well, does he know this? She's like, no.
No, I had no idea.
No, but I will tell him tonight. And she goes to Lucius and he's like in there doing the blacksmith. And she's like, I love you. I want to marry you. I think we should shout it from the mountains. We're happy. We're happy. And if you love me too, then we should go ahead and get married and tell everybody. And next thing you see, she's crying.
Screaming and crying.
It was so good. Awesome.
And William just stares at her. Are you kidding me right now? You are so ridiculous.
So I laughed a couple of times. That movie, or that part of this movie, I was rolling because it was hilarious. Because it's so totally backwards of anything that we do today. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't understand it, and I do definitely recommend this. Not watching it once, but watching it twice with a different mindset. Once you know the twist, if you will. So, Kyle, I think this episode's coming to a close. You can follow us on the social medias of the Tragedy Cinema Podcast. Be sure to get your live tickets to come see Baldless Kyle.
Baldless Kyle, Uncle Fester Kyle. You almost said Baldless Kyle, and I said
not baldless, baldless.
Baldless Kyle.
But if I say baldless Kyle, that means you have hair.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So come see Kyle be on the roll-on deodorant stick.
Yes. And the manic crazy scientist,
Yeah. Doc Brown and Marty McFly. I can't wait to see everybody's costumes. I think it's going to be a fun time and enjoyable evening just to get out and have some fun time with our fans. So with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.